All right, we're going to learn section 8.3, and 8.3 is multiplying binomials. Remember, a binomial is a two-term polynomial, bi meaning two. So when we multiply two binomials, there's a couple different ways you can think about how to do this. There's the FOIL method, but the FOIL method is really just an extension of, or sort of like a mnemonic for remembering the distributive property. But if you remember the distributive property, you don't have to memorize what the F, O, and I, and L stand for in FOIL. So let me show you how to use the distributive property to multiply out two binomials. So what we're going to do first is take this first term, 4x, and we're going to multiply that 4x. We're going to distribute it to both terms in the second binomial here. So we're going to take 4x times x. We're going to write that down. So I get 4x squared for the first term, and then we're going to take that 4x and we're going to distribute it to the 3. Right? So we distribute it to both parts in the second binomial. So 4x times 3 is 12x, so plus 12x. Then we need to deal with this negative 1 here, and we're going to think of this minus 1 as a negative 1. So we'll take negative 1 times x. We need to distribute it through both terms in the binomial. So we take negative 1 times x, that's going to be negative x. And then we'll take negative 1 times 3, that's going to be negative 3. And so the last thing to simplify this is to take and combine like terms. So we have 4x squared, 12x minus x, those are like terms. So I have 11x and minus 3. I didn't draw this in there, but negative 1 times 3 as well. So you take the first term, multiply it by everything in the second binomial, take the second term, multiply by everything in the second binomial as well. Let's do some examples here. So I'm not going to do all of these for you. I'm going to do a few of them, and then you should try some of them and then check your answers. So let's do the first one here. Again, we're thinking about the distributive property, so I start with the first term, which is 2x, and I'm going to take that 2x and multiply it by x. So that will give me 2x squared. And then I need to distribute it to the other term, so 2x times 4. So that's 8x. And then I'm going to take and deal with the second term here, so this 3. I'm going to take 3 times x, so add that, that's positive 3x. And then 3 times 4 is going to be 12. When I combine like terms, just have to combine the 8x and the 3x. So I get 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. And that's my final answer. So what you should do now is you should go ahead and try number 2 and see if you get it right. So pause the video, try it. Did you pause? All right, hopefully you paused and tried it. Here is what the answer should be. 40m squared plus 11m minus 2. All right, let me show you another example here. So 9a minus 8 times 7a plus 4. Now it doesn't matter that we're using a's. The process is still the same. Just like in number 2, it didn't matter that we were using m. So again, we're thinking about the distributive property. Some people think of this as the rainbow method because it looks like you're creating rainbows. So we'll take the first term, that's 9a, times 7a, distributing it. So 9 times 7 is 63. So I have 63, and then a times a is a squared. So 63a squared. Then I'm going to take that 9a and also complete my rainbow, multiply it by 4. So that will be plus 4 times 9, which is 36. 36a. And then I need to deal with the minus 8. So this minus 8, again, I'm treating it as a negative number. So negative 8 times 7a is going to be minus 56a. And negative 8 times 4 is negative 32. Combine like terms. Again, this 36a and 56a, those are like terms. So when you combine them, you get this. 63a, oops, I wrote cubed there. Sorry, that should be squared for the second power. I'll correct it officially here. So 63a squared minus 20a minus 32. Go ahead and give number 4 a try, and you should get to pause. Try it. Okay, now hopefully you paused and you tried it here. You should get 36h squared minus 49. All right, let's deal with one where both signs are negatives. So 3x minus 4 times 2x minus 5. We got negatives on, or minus signs, both of the binomials. So I'll start again. I'm thinking take this first term, which is 3x, multiply it or distribute it to the first term here. So that's 6x squared. Then distribute it to the last term. So 3x times negative 5, it's minus 15x. And then we need to take the negative 4. So I'm going to go negative 4 times 2x, that's minus 8x. And then negative 4 times negative 5, that's plus 20. Combining like terms, you get 6x squared minus 23x plus 20. Go ahead and try number 6. Pause. Hopefully you paused, and you should get 9x squared minus 16 on that one. That one, the middle terms drop out, so you get a minus 12x and a plus 12x. And so you end up without a middle term there. So this is 9x squared minus 16. I want you to think about something real quick. What about something like x plus 4 squared? What would that mean? Well, anything squared means that thing times itself. So for instance, x squared, that's the same as x times x. So if I have x plus 4 squared, that is the same as x plus 4 times x plus 4. Okay? And so if I have x plus 4 times x plus 4, I see that this question, while it looks a little bit simpler, is actually just like these over here. It's asking me to multiply two binomials. So I'll do that real quick. I'll get x times x, that's x squared. X times 4, that's 4x. I'll get 4 times x, it's 4x again. And then 4 times 4, that's 16. Combining like terms, I get x squared plus 8x plus 16. So you want to be careful. Some students think, oh, that's got to be x squared plus 16. But no, we see that when we expand it, based on the meaning of something squared, that it's actually has a middle term. It's x squared plus 8x plus 16. All right, the last thing I want to do is show you the problems down here where we're taking a trinomial, that's a 3-term polynomial, and we're multiplying it by a binomial. The process stays the same. We're just building on the distributive property. The distributive property says you take the first term and you multiply it by everything, the first term in the first polynomial, and you multiply it by everything in the second one. Then you take the second term and do the same thing, and the third term and do the same thing. All right, so let's see what this looks like then in practice. I'm going to take 4x squared, times it by 2x. That's going to give me 8x squared. Now I have to take this 4x squared and I have to multiply it by everything, so I'm going to also multiply it by negative 3. So I get minus 12x squared. All right, then we're going to move on to the next term. Wait, 4x squared, that one's done. We can mentally check that off. We'll go to x. I'm going to take x and multiply it by 2x. So that would be plus 2x squared. X times 2x is 2x squared. X times negative 3, that's going to be minus 3x. Okay, so that term is done. Now I need to move to the negative 6. And let me go for a different color here so I don't confuse all of these marks. I'm going to take negative 6 and times that by 2x. All right, so I'll get negative 12x to the 1 power. And then last, I'll take negative 6 and times that by negative 3. Be very careful with your signs here. Negative times negative is a positive, so I'm going to get positive 18. When I simplify this, I'm going to get, combining these two terms here, so negative 12x and positive 2x will leave me with minus 10x squared. Sorry, those are both x squared. Minus 3 minus 12, that's minus 15x, and then plus 18. So it's just the distributive property. We just have one more step. We have to catch that third term. You should go ahead and pause now and try number 8. Hopefully you paused. All right, here's the answer for number 8. It should be, and I guess I'll write out all the terms here in case so you don't get confused. 12n cubed plus 6n squared plus 42n minus 16n squared minus 8n minus 56, and that simplifies to 12n cubed minus 10n squared plus 34n. Try again, 34n, sorry, that's pretty ugly, minus 56. I do want to just emphasize this is a little bit different than the other one, but the process, again, is still the same. So you can take 6n, multiply it here, here, and here, multiply it by everything, and then take -8 and also multiply that by everything. And that's where you're getting these terms right here, okay? Remember to let us know if you have any questions.